Far too often, founders spend months writing code and building products entirely in the dark, relying on intuition alone. Without testing their technical and commercial assumptions first, they build fragile structures that collapse under the weight of contact with the actual market. To avoid this, we use the 14-day founder validation sprint. It is a systematic, step-by-step process designed to test a product's viability before a single line of production code is written. Before starting the clock, you need to prepare your environment. You must have an organized, backed-up laptop, all your relevant ChatGPT conversations exported, a structured Markdown workspace like Obsidian ready to go, and access to AI research agents. Completing this setup establishes the infrastructure needed for the sprint. You are now prepared to run a centralized intelligence system instead of working from scattered notes and guesswork. The sprint begins here. Days 1 and 2 are dedicated to building your founder knowledge base. You start a mechanical process. Import raw ChatGPT research into a structured Markdown vault, allowing you to visually map relationships between the problem, target users, and proposed solutions. You must avoid the hoarder trap. Archiving data is not enough. You have to prompt your AI assistant to actively analyze the notes, locate inherent contradictions in your logic, and identify missing information. By the end of this phase, you need a mapped concept and a clear assumption register. At the Day 2 decision gate, you must ask one strict question. Can your system accurately explain your core concept in its own words? Passing this gate confirms the AI can process your data correctly. Your knowledge is now in a format that supports active reasoning and interrogation. We move to days 3, 4, and 5. This is the technical validation and feasibility phase. Deploy a research agent to scrape existing competitors, open-source projects, and regulatory constraints. Give the agent explicit instructions to aggressively search for reasons your concept will fail, forcing it past standard confirmation bias. This matrix shows a build versus buy analysis. You need to objectively determine which technical components can be bought or licensed, and isolate exactly what must be built from scratch. This leads to the Day 5 decision gate. You must make a binary choice. Is there a technically feasible and differentiated solution worth pursuing? Surviving this technical audit protects you from investing capital into a premise that is technologically impossible or legally blocked. Next, advance to days 6 through 8, locking focus entirely on market validation and buying behavior. Deploy a market intelligence agent to pinpoint your ideal customer profile. You need to map out their current procurement cycles, existing budgets, and actual willingness to pay for a solution. This organizational chart illustrates a critical risk, mixing up the user and the buyer. In complex sectors like healthcare, the clinical user, the IT privacy approver, and the economic buyer are completely distinct entities with massive communication gaps between them. Produce your deliverables, a recommended beachhead market, and a detailed buyer map. This satisfies the Day 8 decision gate, verifying you have a reachable customer with an urgent problem and the actual authority to make a purchase. A severe problem only transforms into a viable business market if the specific entity experiencing the pain also holds the authorized budget to solve it. We arrive at days 9 through 11. This is the critical phase for drafting your product requirements document and defining your MVP. Translate all of your accumulated market and technical evidence into a strict PRD. You have to resist the urge to build your entire long-term vision immediately. Looking at this requirements document, you can see how aggressively the scope must be narrowed. Strike out the bloat until you are testing only your absolute riskiest assumptions with the minimum amount of complexity. The Day 11 decision gate functions as a checklist. You must demand proof that this highly narrowed MVP can produce measurable, objective evidence that the customer receives value. The MVP acts as a low-cost experiment designed to purchase data. It succeeds only if it produces measurable evidence that the customer receives meaningful value. The sprint now shifts to days 12 and 13, initiating the venture scale strategy design phase. Deploy a coordinated team of AI agents to map out a path to a $1 billion valuation. Use this massive number as a strict strategic design constraint for your business model. Even if you intend to bootstrap your company without a single dollar of venture capital, modeling this extreme scale is necessary. It forces you to rigorously prove your unit economics and identify your distribution moats. Generate a 3-year product roadmap, an economics model, and a capital plan. This brings you to the Day 13 decision gate, where you confirm whether the opportunity has a credible path to rapid, sustainable growth. By modeling the ultimate upside, you prove that the underlying architecture of your business can actually survive scale, regardless of your chosen funding strategy. We arrive at Day 14. This is the final founder review milestone that terminates the sprint. Sit down and review the fully stacked intelligence system and every single deliverable you have generated over the past 2 weeks. The mandate for Day 14 is strict. You must force a definitive decision. Go, revise, pause, or stop. Any assumption that remains unvalidated must be visibly flagged in your system as a hypothesis. This ledger shows the final procedural action, logging a formal founder milestone entry into your vault. Doing this establishes a permanent institutional memory of your exact decision point today. Completing this sprint replaces guesswork with a structured body of knowledge. You are now building on a foundation of tested technical and commercial assumptions.